Jazz, I gotta get the TV on. Something's happening downtown.
Hey, Nikki.
Rebecca Firestone is on, so that means she's gonna be talking about you-know-who, Shadowstar.
Evildoers' plans were immediately vanquished when Nova's own extraordinary Shadowstar arrived at the scene.
Immediately vanquished, because that rolls right off your tongue. Get an editor, Firestone. Ugh, gosh.
Nikki, you know, I was on the subway on the way over here, and there was a pigeon eating a burrito. I was going to take a picture of it, but then a homeless man came in and he kicked it, and he ruined the shot.
Kick the burrito or the bird?
Both, I think. I don't know. And then I was going to take a picture of the homeless man, but then he started peeing in the corner, so I figured I should get off the subway car rather than suffer for my art.
You're a regular Van Gogh, but I don't have time for this discussion.
Yes, I suppose that stalking an extraordinary takes up a lot of time.
I'm not stalking him.
Well, the other day when you were talking about...
Wait, shush! Shadowstar's on. Oh my god, I love him. Oh, do you see that evil wench, Rebecca? Nah, Firestone, she needs to go. You see, she's practically salivating over him. Someone should tell him he needs a restraining order against her.
I doubt there's anything going on between Shadowstar and Firestone.
I know that, and you know that. But does she know that? I don't think she does. She even put on extra lipstick today to make herself more attractive. Does she actually think that's gonna work? Just because Superman has Lois Lane doesn't mean that she gets to be there for him. There are better people for the job, and I'm standing right here.
I loved your theory where you thought that she was actually Pyrostorm and the whole Nemesis thing was just for effect.
Why? Do you like her? That's the most terrible of thoughts. I've never been so betrayed in my life. I mean, if you do like her, I'll support you.
That would have been more convincing if you didn't say it through gritted teeth. So, can you picture the photograph that I would have gotten of that pigeon? It would have been epic.
Yeah, epic. Just like Shadowstorm. Look at him. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds.
And today we're going to continue with Pride Month, and we're going to talk about another TJ Klune book called The Extraordinaries. There are 3 books in this series. We've read the first one, so we're going to tell you about it. Let's do a quick summary before we spoil anything.
Yeah.
So tell folks what this is about.
Okay, so The Extraordinaries. Superheroes are real. And they fight crime, and they do all their superhero things, right? So you have this one guy. What's his name?
Well, it's very confusing because it starts with an N, because he writes stories about Nate.
Okay,
and he
right.
puts himself into the story as Nate, but his name is actually Nick.
Nick! Okay, so
Yes.
Nick is cool. He's very funny. He has ADD, so his like speech reflects
all over
that.
the place.
He's like all over the place,
Yeah.
and just funny and pressured speech and just funny.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Extraordinaries. He's like obsessed with them, and he's
And the Extraordinaries are the superheroes, yes.
the superheroes. He's specifically obsessed with Shadowstar. This dude who's one of the Extraordinaries who flies around, is always on the news doing this and that in the city.
But he does like Pyrostorm's suit, the way it clings to his body. Very nice. So even though he's obsessed with one, he's like drooling over the other.
Yes. So it's kind of like high school life, right? So like there's like crushes and people around, friends, the lunch table. It has that whole feel and vibe to it.
Yes.
You know, Nick has a best friend, Seth, and Nick is the only one who doesn't realize that Seth is in love with him.
Totally.
Right? So there's that.
And then they have 2 friends, these girls that are dating, who are just, they're hysterical. Like their personalities they're very artsy and they're totally into each other. And just the dynamic that happens between the 4 of them, like at their lunch table, you're cracking up. Like TJ Klune, he makes us laugh out loud, he makes us cry. He did both of those for me in this book again. Did he do both of those for you?
Sure.
Yes. And so a lot of like their high school lunch table stuff and whatnot, had me chuckling. So honestly, this description, I don't know if it's hooking anybody just yet, because we're like talking about superheroes and we're talking about high schoolers. And when you started reading this book and I was like, what's it about? You're like, superheroes. And I was like, okay. But really what gets us going is like where the story progressed and the end and all of that, which we're not going to get into for just yet, for those of you that don't want the spoilers. But don't you feel like the book was really made as it escalated and went on towards the end, right?
Oh, absolutely. It got so much more exciting, and when the reveals started happening, you got really into it.
Yeah. So if you're interested in reading TJ Klune and like this sounds like maybe it would be interesting, go for it. And if you don't want spoilers, then skip the rest of this right now, because now we're going to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nick winds up meeting Shadowstar, right? In like an alley, he like saves him or something.
And like he swoons over Shadowstar. It's just hilarious. Yeah. So Shadowstar's like turning or doing something, and Nick just plants a kiss on like the back of his head.
Yeah, yeah.
Cracked me up.
All awkward.
And Shadowstar's like, "Did you just kiss me?" And he's like, "No, I didn't do that."
Right.
It was so lame. And his friend's like standing there just filming it. Like,
yeah.
You're hilarious.
Right. I love how Nick like couldn't stand the newscaster who always like was following Shadowstar. He was like jealous of her. That was funny.
Yeah, you totally see that jealousy in our scene there. He was not a fan of hers.
Not at all. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
All right, so it is revealed later on in the book that Shadowstar is one of the guys in high school. His name is Owen, who had a short little relationship with Nick. They had like a little summer fling one time.
And like you, as the reader, did you know that those two guys were likely going to be his two friends? Did you get the sense of that?
Yeah, I knew who was who.
You did?
I was
so
able to
I flip-flopped a little bit. Before we knew that Shadowstar was Owen, I was like, well, is that Seth? Or is it Owen? I'm not really sure. Because like, you know, the way that they would interact with him, they were like, oh, you liked Pyrostorm's pants though, right? I'm like, are they saying that because they're Pyrostorm or because they're mocking him and the other dude's Pyrostorm? You know what I mean? So I wasn't exactly sure.
Yeah. But it made sense that Seth is Shadowstar.
No, made sense that Seth is Pyrostorm
because Nick didn't like Pyrostorm because it was Shadowstar's arch nemesis.
Right.
So when he found out that his best friend, who was in love with him, is Pyrostorm, he was like,
but you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, but it helped him to see, okay, he can't be the bad guy because that's Seth. That's my Seth, who I know is good, and like. This is breaking my brain right now, but like it helped him to accept that maybe Pyrostorm was not the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which was good.
And Owen's father owns or works at the pharmaceutical
company. It's like their business, like their tower. They're filthy rich.
And so they're like experimenting with drugs to make people extraordinaries. They turn them into extraordinaries. And
I don't know what I think about all that because like Seth is extraordinary without having had any drug to be turned into an extraordinary, right? That's the way that I believe it is from what's been written so far. But Owen is extraordinary because of these meds from his dad's business. And so it really makes me wonder like the differences in extraordinaries out there and what's going to come in future books with that, you know?
Right. So Owen took Nick to the pharmaceutical place. He was going to steal pills to try to turn Nick into an extraordinary, right?
Yeah, to be
because
like
Nick
his
always
sidekick.
wanted to be one.
That was not cool.
And then Seth came in and saved the day, right? And stopped it, and then we find out, huge spoiler right here, that so like Nick is an extraordinary, but like doesn't know it, right?
Okay, that's really messed up. There was like a little flavor of it somewhere in the middle, and I'm like, huh? You know, like you have his dad who's super overprotective of Nick, and like. You know, I'm thinking like, well, Dad, what's going on here? And then it's made very clear at the end, Dad is medicating Nick to keep his extraordinary superhero talents suppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because he like stopped in midair, right? When he was like falling and he stopped.
Yeah, he like did some gravity kind of thing.
And his mother, who was killed in the bank robbery, she's telekinesis. So the father always thought that it was going to be passed down to him. So he was like nervous about that, which is why he started suppressing him with the pills.
Yeah, not cool, Dad. Dad's just worried about him. I mean, I get it. We do like Dad. He was a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, lying to your kid and medicating them and not telling them why, that's not cool.
Would you take a pill to become an extraordinary?
Probably not. I'm too skittish. I'd be like, what are the side effects of that? Right? Am I going to have headaches?
You know, I wish I could say that I would do it. I really wish I could, but I think that's why we're readers, because we take a trip into the book and we're safe.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, those guys took a beating. I don't really want to have fights like that.
I wanted to be able to say yes, but I gotta be honest with my viewers here.
You're so boring.
Yeah, I'm too much of a scaredy cat. To take drugs without knowing what's gonna happen? No.
Yeah, and especially the way Nick was gonna do it. Like, he didn't know what those pills were for, what particular extraordinary power.
Yeah.
And the guy's just handing it to him and expecting him to just take them. That, I wouldn't, absolutely not go that route. Like, no.
Don't do drugs, kids. Just say no.
That's right.
All right. So what would you give this book? Like, how much did you like it?
Well, I was comparing this like with other TJ Klune books mostly because I like his writing style. I enjoy his characters. I enjoyed being gripped by his story. It was fun. This one was more fun, less dramatic, but I definitely cried with emotional involvement, but not with like tragedy or anything like that, but because it was like more high school-y stuff, that made it my least favorite of his books, but still I loved it.
Yeah, same here. I don't think I can give TJ Klune at this point a 3-star review.
Never.
I think it's always going to be 4 and above, but I think I gave this one a 4 just because it's not Cerulean Sea.
Right.
And it's not Wolf Song.
Oh,
guys. Wolf Song is so amazing.
He hasn't finished it yet, but we will review that one very soon, I hope.
Wolf Song, and it's
really
out of print. What is happening? TJ Klune, come on. Amazing.
They've got to print all those books again. He's like, this author, I'm blown away, really blown away by his writing ability. I'm so thankful, I think I said this before, for people like him that can write such amazing stuff. Wow.
We found a new one.
So happy.
We love him.
Yeah, so we hope if you guys haven't read any TJ Klune at all, I mean, we're hitting you with a couple of his videos here, one after another, because we're just loving him. So maybe we'll sway you into considering reading one of his books.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different.
There's different
styles. There's like light fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
There's like more like this is kind of like more like superhero high school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like the whole Wolf Song thing, which is like the werewolves and stuff.
But
so like there's like
like
other different areas
in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody would be able to find something. And you have the purgatory one, it's like
Whispering
the
Door.
afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
There's something for everybody out there.
I would say just go to Goodreads and pull up all his books and see what appeals to you. And let us know if you read something different, what you think about it.
If you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel. Book Buds!
I love my Book Buds.
You should be excited turning the TV on.
Oh. I'm actually pushing them on.
Of course you are.
Oh, Shadow Storm. Look! It's Shadow!
Uh-huh. Okay.